Hello and welcome to the Boys Upstairs show. Today we are joined by two new guests. We always have Sean here.
What's up?
We have Martin, Andrew. You guys want to say hello?
Pleasure to be here.
I am glad to be here.
All right, so we're happy to be here, and today we're going to be talking fantasy football, how to get you guys to win your leagues, who to pick, smart strategies, and Martin's going to start us off.
We're talking about quarterbacks first, right?
Yeah, I think we should start there.
You gotta think about fantasy football. You gotta think, be in a different mindset than when you're thinking about the NFL. Like in the NFL, the MVP, 8 times out of 10 is going to be a quarterback. But in fantasy football, they're incredibly overvalued. Like you have guys taking Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, first and second round, and like they're good picks. They're going to give you points, but at the end of the day, you have to be looking at the running back position, which is the most value when it comes to fantasy football, just because they're so scarce. Starting quarterback, you have 32 of them in the NFL, and you have a better opportunity if you're in a 10, 12-person league. Like you're going to be able to find a quarterback that'll put up some points. So don't overvalue your quarterbacks, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I got to say. It's my TED Talk.
And just for the record, we're talking PPR leagues here today, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Right.
That's a great point of clarification, Tom.
I feel like that's the best way to do it. I feel like that's the most fun.
I
Makes
agree.
the most sense.
It is.
They have like half PPR leagues, but too many
The half
numbers.
points really don't.
Let's go PPR.
So for quarterbacks, you just have to look at it from the perspective also is running quarterbacks are going to be more valuable and they get you more points. That might not necessarily mean that they're always going to be better, but Tom Brady's going to get you 0 rushing yards every week, if not like negative rushing yards from sacks. So even though he's best quarterback in the league, maybe Mahomes, he's not going to be the guy you take in the first round or ever should be. So who is the guy we should take in the first round?
We're doing what? Top 5?
Well, top 5. I'll start us off.
You got it.
Yeah, I might as well. Well, number 1, I don't know. You want to start from number 5?
Start at 5.
Start at 5. Yeah.
Build the anticipation.
Yeah, build the anticipation. It's kind of a controversial pick, but I'm gonna go Kyler Murray at 5. People expected him higher. I'm a big guy myself on height when it comes to a quarterback, and when you can't see over your 6'6", 300-pound offensive lineman, you can't really do much. So that's why he's at the 5 spot.
I'm going to comment on your 5
Please
spot.
do.
Yeah, so what I just said about running, like he's one of the main guys for that. He also just got more.
I understand that, but he's 5'11", 5'10 and a half.
He also might be on the most stacked offense in the NFL right now.
That's not
Like
bad.
he has AJ Green, Hop, and like just JJ Watt too on defense now. So like I don't know. I feel like he's definitely higher than whoever's number 4 on your list. But who is number 4?
Number 4 is the reigning MVP, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is not the reigning MVP, but that's okay.
Who's the reigning MVP?
He is the reigning MVP.
He is the reigning
Did
MVP.
Derrick Henry just win it?
No.
No, he did not. So don't correct me
When
ever
was
again.
he wearing that neon?
Do not correct me
When
ever
was
again.
he wearing that neon?
I understand why you're wearing a
Offensive
Derrick
player,
Henry jersey, but do not correct me again.
I am in a vintage Derrick Henry jersey. If anyone was
I
wondering.
think he's dripping there.
Vintage. You're wearing a Hawaiian shirt. And a Cheapies. What is Cheapies?
What is Cheapies? Cheapies, I love you. That's all I got.
I love you too, Cheapies.
Reigning MVP, I'll continue. Aaron Rodgers. Just an overall great guy. We really don't know where he's going to be playing. He hasn't been at Packers OTAs, but I believe wherever he is going to be, he's going to make an impact. So
hold on, wait. If he gets traded to the Broncos, you think that he's going to have a better year than Kyler Murray with all those weapons?
I didn't think about the Broncos, but the Broncos have Drew Lock and they just got Teddy Bridgewater, correct?
Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be throwing a Teddy Bridgewater.
No, I'm just saying that why would he go to the Broncos?
I mean,
Because
he
the
wouldn't
rumors.
go there. They'd trade him there.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I have to rethink.
Take Kyler Murray before you take
Maybe
him.
I'll switch to 4 and 5. That was a tough one for me. But number 3, I'm using your point. I'm going to go Lamar Jackson there. Some people thought he was a wide receiver, a running back out of the draft, but he came into his role as quarterback, and I think he's going to lead the Ravens to a great season, and he's going to put some points. Number 2, we got Josh Allen with the Bills. He's just an overall great guy. Real solid player. He's going to put up points. I wouldn't take him above the 3rd round, but he is a great quarterback, and I would pick him. He had a chance. And then obviously the number 1, you really can't mess with him. He runs, he throws, he has an amazing receiving core. Plus that great tight end, he got Patrick Mahomes. He is without a doubt the best quarterback in the league right now, and I'm not even gonna be scared to say it. He is the best quarterback in the league with the most talent, and Chiefs Super Bowl? I don't know. But
Yeah, so I didn't make a list because I just wanted to react off theirs.
Yeah.
But I would definitely take Josh Allen over Mahomes at this point.
Oh!
Josh Allen, Mahomes is mobile, but Josh Allen has, designed run plays for him. The Chiefs don't do that with Mahomes as much. And Josh Allen also is a big red zone run, threat as well. When they get inside the 5, they'll go QB power a lot. And they're not doing that with Mahomes. Mahomes has more weapons, but, the Bills have Diggs. So
yeah, but
he's, the best, not talked about player in the NFL,
That's why I put him at 2. Exactly. But Tyreek Hill plus Travis Kelce plus Sammy Watkins plus Mecole Hardman. Can you really beat that?
Sammy Watkins got traded.
Sammy Watkins is on the Ravens now.
Still all those people I mentioned.
But that helps Lamar Jackson, too. So it's number 3.
So that's my list. I'm sticking to it. Thank you.
My top 5, maybe a little more traditional. I got Rodgers at 5. We don't need to give a bio for each player. Everyone knows who Aaron Rodgers is. Everyone knows who Aaron Rodgers is.
People are watching who wants to learn about fantasy football.
They all know who they are. Okay, Aaron Rodgers at 5, Lamar at 4, Kyler at 3, and then I'm gonna follow Tommy's footsteps and I'm gonna go Pat at 2, and then Josh Allen at 1.
Oh.
Everything he says, design run plays, those are key. And then when looking at the offensive weapons, like Andrew was talking about, the Chiefs' run game, you know who they had. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he was a solid rookie season. He could probably come into his own after his second year. Bills got who? Singletary and Zach Moss, and they don't really have an option. So it's a throw first offense. Stephon Diggs, super crisp route running. Cole Beasley's a stud. I think that Josh Allen will have the best year.
They got John Ross too, I think.
Yeah,
or John Brown.
He's got weapons. He's got people to throw to, and if not, he had the most throws out of the pocket, if I'm not mistaken, of all quarterbacks. Just freak athlete out of Wyoming University of Wyoming, whatever they are. So I think he's number 1 quarterback.
I respectfully disagree.
That's fine.
But that's it, and I'll beat you in fantasy this year, and that's we'll see.
Basically, quarterbacks are not the most important player in fantasy football. They are in real football, but you have to keep that in mind. But let's go to the most important position in fantasy football, the running backs.
Absolutely.
So, Andrew, you want to give us your top 5?
I will, and I apparently won't give a bio of.
I think everyone knows who Christian McCaffrey is.
Okay, well, we don't know that. Another controversial pick at 5. I'm going to go Dalvin Cook. Then number 4, I'm going to put Kamara. Number 3, Derrick Henry. Number 2, we're going to go Saquon. And then number 1, we're going to go run CMC, Christian McCaffrey.
All right, so I'll just comment on your top 5 as a whole. I think that your top 2 should be switched with your bottom 2, and I would keep who's 3?
Henry.
I would keep Henry. I might even make him 2. Kamara is such a threat because he also has the receiving aspect. So that's kind of like a flex thing.
With Drew Brees, though.
Yeah, well, I think that since he's gone, they're going to lean on Kamara even more, whether it's Taysom Hill or Jameis. But I would say that Dalvin Cook, if he can stay healthy, could be the best running back in the league, to be honest. He just never is healthy. Yeah. But I just think that he's really good.
But the thing with fantasy football is if you're starting a running back gets injured,
I agree.
It's just why would you waste a pick on someone who's injury prone when someone...
Well, the same could be said about Saquon. He's coming off injury, and... Are you guys having your own conversation over
We're in the middle of a podcast here, guys.
They're trying to listen.
We're listening. We are listening.
I feel like me and Tommy are having a connection.
We're talking shop.
I would say that Saquon coming off the ACL is too high on the list for somebody in that situation, especially because Giants suck also. But I think that Dalvin Cook could be really good this year, and Kamara could be very useful. I don't disagree with Christian McCaffrey though, or Derrick Henry.
To counter
Martin's
that,
MVP.
Kamara could be thrown to a guy who has played every position in football, or a guy who stole crab legs from Publix. So he's not really getting that much.
I think the Saints are going to be bad, but I think because they don't have a good quarterback, they're going to run the ball more.
Absolutely, I agree. But also, have you seen the size of Saquon's quads? I think he's going to make a bounce back to.
No, I hope he does.
He does, and I feel like he's gonna take the Giants and he's gonna put the Giants at the top of that division. And that conference
over the Redskins,
over the football team.
I am a
canceled.
I think that the football team is going to win the division.
I would have to agree with that.
We can get into that.
Top 5 running backs. I do not have Saquon on my top 5. I hope he bounces back from his ACL, but it's a very difficult task. I know Adrian Peterson did it. Obviously, he's built different. He's goated. Saquon's not there yet, but I got my GOAT, Derrick Henry, number 5. He won my fantasy football league last year. But I think them getting Julio is not going to help out his carries. I think they're going to be a throw-first option for when it goes to their offense, but, I mean, you never know. I got Zeke at 4. Him and Dak are going to come back. I don't think they're going to be great, but I think they'll be aggressively average, and Zeke will have over 1,000 yards. Kamara at 3, Dalvin at 2, and then run CMC at 1. So I think that's, like I said, more standard list than Big Andy, but I do not have Saquon in the top 5 as other people probably most likely do. Big Andy.
Yeah, so the thing about me with that list is I think that Zeke has fallen off, to be honest. I hate to say it, but I would just say that in an anecdotal perspective, I know a guy who unfortunately does like to dabble in the sports gambling world, and he put a rather large wager on Ezekiel Elliott to score a touchdown on Thanksgiving Day. He did not. I feel like from hearing his agony of it, the fact that Ezekiel Elliott was not able to score a touchdown on Thanksgiving Day, and the Cowboys didn't even have a quarterback. They started that like Garrett whatever guy at quarterback, and that he still didn't score. Like, they needed to be feeding him every possession, and he didn't score. So I just think that he has kind of gotten like fat and not as aggressive as he used to be. And I don't know, running backs, it's just like the length of their career or their like prime is like can be cut short very fast. Like Le'Veon Bell, Adrian Peterson, like it just happens all the time to like really good running backs.
DeMarco Murray.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't draft him, to be honest.
I
but
100% agree. I wouldn't even put. I mean, I would say he's been eating too much off the field instead of on the field.
that's one way to put it.
Yes,
for sure.
I think
exactly.
people are
Sean, you like that?
they're able they submit to recency bias, and you know they see Zeke not putting up for a couple years, they forget how good he once was. Same with Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he hasn't been healthy all of last year, and then the year before that he was hurt too. Or am I wrong in that?
No, I think he's been hurt.
Yeah, I mean, but people are still putting him at number 1, but I feel like they're forgetting about Zeke and kind of sweeping him under the rug. It'll be interesting to see what the Cowboys do. I still think the football team will win the division, but I think Cowboys could maybe give them a run for their money if Dak and Zeke stay healthy throughout the year. I mean, they got a lot of offensive weapons in Cooper, Gallup, and then they got a few other ones as well. CD Lamb. There we go. So yeah. I think they'll be all right. We'll see.
I wouldn't put him as a in the top 10. That's all I guess.
That's all good.
Yeah, to me, the thing with McCaffrey is just that, like, last year he missed a bunch of games. Year before that, I think he missed a couple games. Like, in fantasy football, like, you can't win with that. And, like, even though he will give you good numbers, like, in the games he does play, like, I'd rather have a guy give me a little less every week than, like, miss games. Yeah. So, I mean, a guy for me that is the number 1 is Derrick Henry. Like, if he's there in the first round when I pick, I'm taking him, unless I have, like, the first pick. But I don't know. I think that he's like could be the best player in football, to be honest. Like, it's hard because everybody's position's different, so you can't really
even with Julio in the offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're going to use Julio a lot, but their offense is built on Derrick Henry. Like, that's what made them good when he got there. Before that, they were not good. So
as much as I hate to say, I think the Titans might take the AFC South again. Which I'm a diehard Colts fan, so is Andrew, born and raised in Indianapolis, but. I mean, that Titans offense, and then who they gonna? I mean, they lost Clowney.
Got A.J. Brown too. On offense.
They got A.J. Brown on offense. I'm just trying to think of their defense if they're really.
I think they lost a couple defensive starters, but
I think they'll be all right.
Well, that's the thing. People were saying that there was going to be a down year for them before they got Julio, and now everybody's back high on him. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, Julio obviously is one of the best players in the NFL, so that is something that changes everything. But
what? Really? Is he?
Really? These guys.
How many years has he
Dude,
really got out of
it's the same thing as Matt Stafford being trapped in Detroit. Like, once you get out of a bad franchise, like, you can, like, blow up.
Yeah.
And he has all
how many years does Julio really have left? Would you say he's in his prime still?
No.
I'd say
he's
on the downfall.
I wouldn't say that he's
2 to 4 more years.
I would say 2 years, maybe 3 tops. Maybe.
Okay. I mean, I'd take that. Like, I wish he traded the Steelers, but I bet you wanted him on the Colts.
I bet I did.
I would have taken it.
Absolutely.
We need a lot of help.
Absolutely.
All right.
Speaking of receivers.
Well, yeah, speaking of receivers, let's go to them. So, Andrew, what's your top 5?
My top 5. I think this is more traditional than what I've been doing for the past 2 positions. But I'll give you 5. 5 is DK. DK, drop it. But DK Metcalf. Number 4, we got Diggs. Number 3, Devontae Adams. Number 2, D-Hop. And number 1, the fastest player in the NFL, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, so Devontae Adams, for me, the thing with him that you have to be cautious of, and you'll have a better idea by the time fantasy drafts roll around, is what Aaron Rodgers is going to do.
Okay.
If Aaron Rodgers isn't on the team and Devontae Adams still is, then he's not, like, I would not take Devontae Adams, just, like, period, because I don't trust Jordan Love at this moment. Maybe he turns out to be good, but
Tyreek Hill is I just think he could cook any DB in the league. And he's just so fast and so versatile where Patrick Mahomes can just throw him at it and he just...
I mean, so is Henry Ruggs, but he's not being considered. Like, speed is great, and, you know, there are good DBs in the NFL.
Who said anything about Henry Ruggs?
You're saying that he's the fastest
Correct.
receiver in the NFL, which is
Correct.
the
He's
reason that
fastest
good.
and he puts up points. That's all he needs to do.
Okay, but you're saying that he's the fastest player in the NFL, which automatically means that he's good.
Not true. Not true.
Devontae
The
Adams
way he
and
uses his
Stephon Diggs
speed.
and DeAndre Hopkins are all better route runners. They're able to get open way more than Tyreek Hill can.
Tyreek Hill can.
That's why
the other thing is, like, a lot of times the Chiefs use him as, like, a gimmick, like, to open up another guy on a play, like, because he's so fast.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, on the Bills, like, Diggs is the guy. Like, he's getting all the targets. On the Chiefs, Kelsey, Hardman, all those guys. So I wouldn't take him first. But
He's in my top 5. So I got Ridley at 5.
okay.
He's going to step into that role. Matt Ryan's still got a cannon of an arm. He's a BC guy. We got Tyreek Hill at 4, D-Hop at 3, then Diggs back at 2, and then Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the NFL, and he's number 1. And Tommy 100% makes a good point. We'll see what Aaron Rodgers is up to. Last time I checked, he was hiking in Hawaii with his wife and Miles Teller.
I completely have no problem with what Aaron Rodgers is doing right now. I think it's awesome. To be
He's earned
honest.
How
it.
is that
I'd say he's earned it.
Why is that awesome?
Why does he have to go to OTAs? He's been in the league for
Yeah.
12, 13 years.
Doesn't everyone go to OTAs?
Tom Brady literally told the Bucs we're not going to OTAs.
Oh.
And no one gives a shit because they just, like, hate Aaron Rodgers for some reason.
Like, it's a time for the rookies to prove themselves, or all the practice squad guys to, you know, like, try to make a name for themselves. But when you're established like that, I mean, well, obviously Rodgers has some turmoil with Jordan Love and what's going on in that franchise, but I mean, no reason for Tom Brady to show up to OTAs.
They haven't. The Packers, they haven't drafted help to Aaron Rodgers.
That's what I'm saying. I
in
don't
the
blame
past
him.
15. Oh,
He's
no,
living,
I understand.
he's living
I
his best
totally-
life right now.
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt. I totally think he should be able to go to a different team, but why is he not? That's the real question.
It's not up to him. They have to trade him, and they won't.
That's what I'm saying.
I would love to go to Hawaii with Miles Teller.
And, like, a woman.
Yeah.
Just you guys?
Yes.
Just me and Miles Teller.
Just me and Miles Teller. I mean, we could shoot the shit all day long.
Yeah,
Like,
that guy's
love Miles Teller.
Tight ends, most important position on the field.
That was a biased statement,
But
I'm
not
just
in
gonna-
fantasy football at all.
I'm just gonna go with my 5. Number 5, we got the big boy from Baltimore, Mark Andrews. Number 4, I believe, will be the next Megatron, Kyle Pitts. Number 3, Darren Waller. Number 2, George Kittle. And number 1, Travis Kelce, the man with the cleanest fade in the NFL.
I don't think that was a bad list by Andrew. My 1 and 2 is gonna piss some people off. But that's fine. I'm not a Mark Andrews fan. I think Tommy's right in the fact that he is Lamar Jackson's favorite target simply because, I mean, he doesn't really have a lot of help there. I think Rashad Bateman, that rookie from Minnesota, is gonna be good for them. And if Marquise Brown is, you know, he's up in the air, but we'll see. So I got number 5. I got Kyle Pitts. 4, T.J. Hawkinson out of Detroit.
It's a good one.
He does not have a lot of throwing options. Jared Goff, and I'll talk about that more actually in my sleepers. 3,
Tease.
I got George Kittle at 3. 2, I have Darren Waller, and 1, I have Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce at 1, everyone understands that, but who is Derek Carr throwing to in L.A. or Las Vegas?
I honestly don't think I can name, other than Ruggs.
Anybody else?
Ruggs. Nelson Aguilar they got. Who,
I think he left.
to where?
I think
He's on New England.
Yeah.
Who do they have to throw? Darren Waller, first of all, incredible story. If you guys don't know about his, you know, background and everything that he's had to go through with mental health, I mean, he was very, very much struggling, and he was able to overcome that and be illustrious in the NFL. He went to Georgia Tech. So when you talk about, you know, a modern day Megatron, Calvin Johnson, Georgia Tech guy, Darren Waller already in the NFL being a beast for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Just because they go to the same college.
He's got like
does not-
10, 13 targets a game. Like, I mean, I think this dude is a game changer. He has potential to be tight end number 1 this year at the end of the year. Like, I think Travis Kelce's the safe bet for that. But if you can grab Darren Waller in round 3, I mean, maybe even round 4 if you can sneak that, I think that is a better pick than taking a chance on some, you know, dudsy running back that could maybe be good, could maybe be shit the sheets. So I'm a big believer in Darren Waller, so that's my list.
Yeah, so I would say that Darren Waller is really good, insight for the viewers of this podcast to see, because I think a lot of casuals don't know who that is, don't really follow the Raiders that much. And Martin's right. I think that Kelsey is untouchable right now, in my opinion. I think he's probably the best tight end ever. I don't think that's unfair to say. Maybe
Hot take.
A Steelers fan.
That is a
Tony Gonzalez.
hot take right
We
there.
got Heath
I mean,
Miller.
he's not better. He's
guy.
not. Heath Miller's not as good as Kelsey. I love him.
Gronkowski and Tony Gonzalez. You have answers for
I
those?
said Tony
Jimmy
Gonzalez.
Graham.
I think
You
Kelsey.
said
Greg
the best
Olsen.
tight end? Or?
Yeah, I think Kelsey's better than Gronk. I don't know about Tony Gonzalez, but
Are you, what?
yeah.
Currently. I mean, right
Current,
now,
are we talking about currently or
I'm
all
talking
time?
He's got more years.
No,
I'm
he
talking
said
about-
all
I'm talking about-
time.
No, I'm talking about ever.
He said ever.
I
all
don't
time.
think he's there yet.
I think right now for me, it's probably Gonzalez, then Kelsey, then Gronk.
Oh,
That is a hot take, and it's not.
He literally has transformed the position. Now all tight ends are going the slot. Ebron does it. Kyle Pitts is going to do it. Hawkinson does it. And Gronk does it now, too. Gronk never used to do that.
yeah.
So, I mean, I think that Kelsey's just impact on the game, and it's going to continue to show over time as tight ends become more slot, pass catcher guys.
Input, Sean?
Yeah, Sean. He's quiet over there.
He's here.
I
He's here.
totally forgot.
He's here, by the way.
I totally forgot he was. I legitimately
Sean, who's the best
totally
tight
forgot.
end of all time, in your opinion?
Probably Gronk.
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 Gronk. Safe pick.
Safe pick.
All right, let's go to the flex. Did you guys do this? Or no?
No.
Not really.
Not
I mean,
at all.
like,
All right, let's
Oh,
go
we
to
did-
defense.
Defense.
didn't do defense.
We also didn't. We were not prepared.
My
for this.
whole so,
But we could. Yeah.
my whole strategy with defense, same thing with kickers. Like, they're always going to be available on the waiver wire, and it's going to suck if you don't have a go-to defense. Like what the Chiefs' defense will be safe because they win a lot of games.
Rams.
Well, I mean, but if the Rams go 6-10 or 6-11, sorry.
I think the Rams are going to be possibly win the NFC this year.
Say it again.
I think they might win the NFC this year.
The Los Angeles Rams.
Yes.
Okay.
Between them and the Bucks for me.
Just
that's
freezing
what,
cold take.
I don't. It's not.
well, you guys clearly didn't watch me and Jake's show because we said that Jake's thinks they might win the Super Bowl.
The Los Angeles Rams.
How much
Yeah.
money has Jake lost to do to sports betting?
We don't gamble.
Yeah?
Nope.
No.
Jake does not gamble.
Jake does not.
So I think that the
I value his opinion. You're right.
I think that the Rams are going to be a really good team this year. I believe in Matty Ice.
I do too. Don't get me wrong.
Matty
think-
Ice is in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Hey, Matty
The real Matty
Ice.
Ice.
Matty Ice is in Atlanta.
Matty Ice is in Atlanta. Matthew Staff. I knew who he was talking about.
I know who he's talking about too, but Matty Ice is in Atlanta.
Okay. I think that Matt Stafford's much better than Matt Ryan,
Matt Staff.
personally.
I think he was trapped, like you said, and I do think the Rams will have a good year.
Defense has best player on defense in the league,
Yeah.
potentially the best corner,
Yep.
Yep.
and a lot of other good players. So
And a lot of other good players.
Well, I mean,
meaning,
they got.
I don't know
I know
any
who
more
he's
players
talking
on
about. Number
defense.
23, whoever that guy is.
yeah, no, you watch them and the announcers was like, yeah, they have a lot of good corners. I don't know their names, but
And
they're
then
a good secondary
offense,
group.
what? You got Stafford obviously coming in making an impact, and you got Cam
Cooper
Akers, Darrell Henderson, and Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Higbee. Could be good.
Stafford.
Winning the NFC, what were the odds on that?
Matty Ice apparently is Staff.
They're high up there. They're one of the most good odds.
Like plus 800? Plus
I don't remember the number, but I know that.
I don't sports bet.
But I think that the Bucks and the Rams are going to be in the championship game this year. Unless Aaron Rodgers turns around with the Packers, then that changes it. But
Where do you see the Chiefs ending up? Who do you see the Chiefs losing to?
We're talking about NFC.
Oh, NFC. Okay. But you just said that they
NFC championship game.
NFC championship game. Correct. I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
All right, so I would say for defense, don't see the Rams defense is really good, and it's like a mid to late round. You're like, I'll take him now before anybody else does. That's a waste of a pick.
Don't do that.
Don't do that because the Rams will get blown out from time to time.
Right.
You don't need to, and most teams will. So you don't need to waste a pick that high on a defense. Same thing with kicker. So just try to get a decent defense somewhere in the middle. Steelers defense is a good one to take. That's usually what I do because they're not ranked very high, but I know that they have good players and that we don't get blown out a lot. So just try to find a decent defense very late, and like what Martin said, waiver wire is usually what you have to do.
Your last 2 rounds are dedicated to defense and kicker, respectively. Whichever you want. The second to last, you can go kicker. The last pick, you can go defense, and then switch it up.
I mean, you could go into the deep dive and analysis of every defense and how many points they let up and how many takeaways. But just
Any given Sunday.
Yeah, any given Sunday. Exactly.
You never
I mean,
know.
yeah, the Rams have Aaron Donald. Yeah.
You get like 2 points for every sack or something like that. But then like points allowed. Like I mean, who's a good defense?
Dolphins. Dolphins got a
Dolphins do have a good defense.
Dolphins has Xavier Howard.
Great defense.
Xavier Howard has.
And I'm sure you get points for a lot of points for interceptions, pass deflections, or whatever. But if the Bills put up 51 on them,
yeah, occasionally you'll always this always happens to me when I play fantasy football. 1 week I'll be playing somebody that has like a mediocre defense, like the Bills or something. Not even the Bills because they're decent, but just like a bad team.
Yeah.
And somehow they have like 4 interceptions, and it's just
and the special teams too. Like
special teams. Like it'll just happen from time to time, and sometimes that'll happen if you have them. So you just kind of have to get lucky. You can't predict that.
Yeah.
It's just not that important.
It is any given Sunday, and that's the best way you can explain it.
So let's briefly go into kickers. Basically the exact same shit.
Justin Tucker.
Don't waste a high pick on it. They don't matter that much. Occasionally you'll get a guy. It's usually on a team that isn't that great because their offense can't put up touchdowns, but they'll get in the red zone enough where he'll kick a lot of field goals.
But don't be the guy to analyze red zone scoring.
It's not that deep.
Yeah,
it's not that deep.
It's really not that deep.
You basically know in your mind who good kickers are when you see them on the board. If you've never heard of the guy, probably don't take him. But
unless the story last year with Younghoe Koo, who scored 20 points one week.
Well, I would have predicted that just because his name's funny. I would have probably taken him.
That makes sense.
Which a lot of people might have done. So you never know. But I don't know. I think that if you have like a really good team already and you don't need to just like get another bench guy and you see Justin Tucker there, it might be worth a pick because he's like the most consistent kicker right now and has been for the past like 10 years basically.
It's a safe pick.
It's a safe pick.
Yeah. Wouldn't waste a higher than the last.
Your last 2 picks for your
rounds,
draft.
that's where you go.
Yes. Don't change that.
All right, so what you guys have sleepers?
Ooh, the most anticipated part of the entire podcast.
I think sleepers are interesting because everyone says like this guy has boom or bust potential. Everybody has boom or bust potential, but when looking at a sleeper, like these aren't going to be the guys that are finishing top 1 and top 2 in their positions, but they're finishing like top 11, maybe like getting there to squeak into the top 10 at like a 9 or an 8 when it comes to the end of the season because they've maybe put up a couple crazy weeks and then they're able to get a poor to mediocre scoring performance. But I think the guys that I have on my list, I'm not sure who Andrew's got on his, but I think my guys definitely have some potential to show up their draft ranking. So Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll get right into it, and I'll give a bio for each of them.
You can do it. Sleeper makes sense.
They are kind of random.
It makes sense because they're sleepers, so people don't know about them.
Yeah, let me tell you about Travis Kelce.
Let me tell you about
why he's a good
why you should take Travis Kelce.
Yeah,
okay. All right. Can I go? Thank you. All right, so my first sleeper, people know who he is, but haven't heard from him in a while. So I'm going to go Carson Wentz. And as a Colts fan, this may look biased, but he did lead the Eagles to a Super Bowl. And maybe Nick Foles. So the thing with Nick Foles is if he let him into the Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl, don't get me wrong. But that's like hitting a par 4 and then letting your buddy putt it in. Have a 5-foot putt in for the towards the end. We all good over there? We're good.
What were you saying about golf or whatever?
Yeah, so I just believe that Carson Wentz put up numbers that season, that Super Bowl season. He got unlucky with an injury, and then Nick Foles led him to the promised land, and then he just hasn't been heard from since. So him getting traded to the Colts with all the weapons that we have, I believe that he has a breakout season. Maybe someone takes him off of the waiver wire, puts him on his bench, sticks him in there when their quarterback is on a bye week, and gets 30 points out of it. 35 points. Carson Wentz.
Oh.
Carson Wentz, the ginger.
Don't take Carson Wentz.
That's just.
I know he's ginger, and I like that.
I thought he would have been.
Define weapons on the Colts.
What's that guy's receiver's name?
Michael Pittman.
Yeah, he had 1 touchdown.
Jack Doyle.
He sucks.
T.Y. Hilton.
I think Jack Doyle.
Listen to what I'm saying right now. He had 1 touchdown last year. You know how many points that is on the whole year? 1 touchdown.
Don't take
We're gonna
Carson.
get a receiver.
Keep sleeping.
We're gonna get a receiver
on Carson Wentz.
Yes.
Yet
I will see you guys in the
Carson
postseason.
Wentz is a good waiver wire pickup if he ends up being good the first couple weeks.
Exactly, and that's why he's a sleeper, and that's why I'm gonna have him. And you're gonna trade me Tyreek Hill for him. All right, I'm gonna go Hunter Henry. Just got the newest addition to the New England Patriots with Bill short sleeve hoodie Belichick. And I really
Johnny Smith.
Johnny Smith, they did.
Yeah,
and they're going to be that lightning and thunder combo that the Patriots really
so there
need.
goes half his targets.
That's just not how things work around here.
I got a sleeper for that.
Keep
don't worry.
sleeping.
That's just...
Hunter Henry.
He's just completely shitting on all my takes. Look, here, listen.
Do you want me to just agree with everything you said?
No, I don't. So I want
That wouldn't be
this to
fun. That would be interesting.
That wouldn't be interesting.
Think about the viewers.
Think about the view.
Yeah.
If it's Cam Newton or if it's Mac Jones, it doesn't matter. Hunter Henry will get targets. Hunter Henry will score. He did great on the Chargers. I really believe
He did okay
he's
on the Chargers.
He's gonna have a breakout season this season.
Okay.
So those are your first.
That's my first two. My last and final. Not a lot of people have heard of this man. He has a very interesting name, but I'm gonna go with Laviska Shenault of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He just got the #1 pick this year.
Is that the guy that's like from?
No, he went to
I've never heard of that guy.
You have it. And not a lot of people have.
He's a rookie last year.
He's in a really deep sleep. So now that they have the flowing hair of Jesus Christ reincarnated as Trevor Lawrence on Jacksonville Jaguars, I feel like he's just gonna get.
Do they have any other weapons they receive? DJ
Chark, ETN is a receiving threat. James Robinson's a good running back, but he doesn't get a lot of targets. And then Tim Tebow's not going to make the roster.
Yeah, maybe that is a good sleeper pick.
I think he's 1 for 3.
Okay, I think I'm 3 for 3, but it's all good. I'm going to win fantasy this year, and you guys are going to.
You'll see. I won last year, by the way. It's my first time I ever won my league is last year, so I'm actually qualified to be here.
I have won a league before, so I can talk.
He has. He's won one. Yes.
I think I won a league.
That means he's not won a league.
It was a tie between me and my math.
Doesn't
me
sound
and my math
that
teacher, Mr. Horse.
Doesn't
Shout
sound
out you,
that
Mr.
That's
Horse.
something you always remember.
Exactly.
It was like a tie.
I think I won the lottery.
I might have.
I might have
was
bagged.
like
I might
You
have
know
bagged
what? You know what?
Kunis.
Why did I even come to that?
Yeah.
All right. So, what's your sleepers, Martin?
Number 1, Darnell Mooney. As of right now, on the depth chart, he is wide receiver 2 on the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, not Bears. Wow.
Do the beer.
That'd be a good T-shirt.
That is.
Chicago
They
Bears.
definitely already have that. Like we
assume that's a thing.
didn't just drop a bomb on the Boys Upstairs podcast.
Yeah, we have a patent on that.
No, Darnell Mooney. I think he's a better wide receiver than Allen Robinson. If you ever watch Allen Robinson's route running, I think he's a little bit washed, and he gets strapped up religiously by good corners in the league. I would say that he could be emerging as wide receiver 1 in that offense, and Justin Fields has a crazy arm, and I think he's going to take advantage of that after he beats out Andy Dalton for a quarterback spot. So Darnell Mooney, he's like wide receiver 20-something, 30-something when it comes to rankings. I'd put him as my number 1 sleeper.
Well, I mean.
So you only have 1 sleeper?
No, that's my first sleeper.
No, you make a good
I was
point.
waiting for banter.
I'm not gonna lie, this is bad. I don't know who that is either.
Well, man, that's the point of it.
But I am asleep still, so maybe I'll wake up.
All right, number 2. So this kind of plays into Andrew's Hunter Henry thought process. The New England Patriots have seen better days. They recently got 2 tight ends in the free agency, Hunter Henry being one, Jonnu Smith being the other. They're going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets. They're going to try to run the ball, more often than they did probably last season. So that's why I got to put Damian Harris up there. If you
100%
if you picked him up towards, I think, the back half of last season, I know I had him for a couple weeks. He put up a good amount of numbers. He was getting anywhere from 15 to 25 carries a game. He's an Alabama guy. Like, he was not as good as the Najee Harris, Derrick Henry, Trent Richardson, obviously when he was there. But I mean, he did all right when he was at Bama, and like now him at the Patriots, he kind of faded away, but. I think this could be a good year for him, especially because Cam is not the same Cam as we once saw. So,
100% agree, and that's why the Patriots are going to make a bounce
He basically
back
just disagreed with what you said.
I did disagree.
Huh?
Contrastly, basically to what you're saying. You said that Hunter Henry is going to get targets, but as he brought up, and as everyone has brought up, there's another tight end, Jonnu Smith, who I would argue is better than Hunter Henry.
Thunder Lightning.
And the fact that they're going to run more
that's good for the team, but like for your production as a fantasy player, it's not good.
They're going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets, a lot of jumbo packages with Damian Harris in the backfield, and there's a lot of QB designed runs for Cam Newton. but I think that Damian Harris will take a lot of those carries away. That's why he's a
You
sleeper.
can believe what you believe, but Hunter Henry is going to have a breakout season.
We'll see. At number 3, I think that the Lions will probably be in the bottom tier of football teams in the NFL this year, but they don't have a solid wide receiver 1. I mentioned T.J. Hawkinson is the 4th best tight end in my opinion, but they're looking at Brashad Perriman on the depth chart, but I think that either Tyrell Williams or Amon St. Brown. Amon St. Brown's a rookie drafted out of USC. He was crazy production under JT Daniels and Caden Slovis. And I think Tyrell Williams, he got traded from either Los Angeles or some other team. I think that, Jared Goff, he's not the best quarterback, but he made Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods look pretty damn good. So I would put, anybody in the Lions receiving core, there's going to be one of those dudes that maybe has like an 800, 900 yard receiving yard season.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, honestly, I think the Lions are going to surprise people this year. I think this is going to be a different type of year for the Detroit Lions. And I think that especially if Aaron Rodgers gets traded, that division's wide open, and the Lions might have something to say about it. But I'll get into a couple of my sleepers. Don't have anything prepared, but off the top of my head, Najee Harris, if he's there late, take him. I am trying to tell you.
He's going in like the 3rd round. That's not a sleeper.
You think?
What do you mean? I've done like 4 mock drafts.
I think that not a lot of people know about Najee Harris necessarily, unless you're a guy that does a lot of fantasy mock drafts in mid-June. But
I'm that guy, pal. I am that guy.
You're not that guy.
yeah, no, I mean, if he is really going to be that high of a pick, then I guess he's not a sleeper. But I think that he's going to have a really good year. I think the Steelers are going to use him a lot. High usage rate. I would also say, honestly, a little bit contrast to what Martin said earlier, I think Cam might be a sleeper this year. I think that he's going to turn it around. Before COVID, he was playing really well. And then after COVID, not so well. Now they have a bunch of weapons. He was basically working with nothing last year. I went to a Dolphins versus Pats game, and it was like I didn't know any receivers on the Patriots. And it was like Cam had no help, and they were just running like zone reads, and it was just 3 and out every time. And now they have weapons, Aguilar, Hunter Henry, and Jonnu Smith. They made the defense a little bit better, and a lot of guys that opted out last year are coming back. So I think the Patriots are going to be decent this year, and I think that Cam is going to have a good year, or not though. So maybe he gets benched for Mac Jones, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think Mac Jones is their guy.
I don't.
He is identical
Not
to
this
Tom
year.
Brady.
He's not.
Not identical to Tom Brady. And Cam Newton signed a 2-year contract. I think they drafted Jones at 15 because they were feeling the pressure, and that's where he was kind of slated to go. I think Belichick, he's at the tail end of his career too. I think Jones will develop. I don't think he's there. He had an incredible amount of weapons surrounding him at Alabama, not discarding his play style by any means. But 1 year as a starter in an Alabama system, I think that could make anybody look good.
So you're saying you could be a quarterback at the University of Alabama?
No, but I'm saying I think Cam's better.
I agree with
for
that
at least
too.
2 more years.
But Mac Jones could be that guy.
At least this year. Who cares about anything other than this year?
True.
All we care about is points on our fantasy football team.
Exactly.
And I think that Cam is going to, especially because he runs too, that's just something you have to consider.
Yes.
Mac Jones is not a running quarterback. So,
Not at all.
I mean, that doesn't really matter.
I also
for the team,
will, just to play a devil's advocate here.
Okay.
The worst sentence.
Good
in
banter.
It's the worst sentence in all of the English language.
Martin hates that.
Anytime somebody says, allow me to play devil's advocate, how about I don't? How about I don't allow you?
How about you don't?
Yeah, how about you don't?
But yeah, just to counter my own point. Mac Jones, he threw to Devonta Smith, 4 stars and 5 stars, who are all in the league right now. I think Belichick drafted him because he fits that prototype of a Patriots quarterback, which is Tom Brady. But has Cam Newton done much in the past year? Will he produce?
It's a
some
prove it
points?
year. It's a prove it year.
I would agree.
It is.
I mean, that's why he's a sleeper.
Yeah.
Because he's got to prove it.
You got one more?
I'll go to Sean. Sean, who's your sleeper this whole year?
Who's gonna win your league?
Who are people not talking enough about?
Deontay Johnson.
Okay. Big
Yeah.
Steelers show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I think people were just giving him shit last year because he had all those drops. But I mean, the Steelers have a lot of threats, but I think Deontay's gonna be great.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, honestly. I think that last year it was kind of in his head, and now he has a whole offseason to forget about it and just break out. And I think that the NFL, or I don't know if it was Sports Illustrated or NFL.com, released like a player's like poised to break out this year, and he was on there. So that's not a bad pick there, Sean.
PPR monster too.
Yep.
I had him in my championship season last year. He he really helped me out. I mean, big Steelers guy as well. So
Yeah.
good for them.
Just
A lot of bubble screens.
Allow me to play devil's advocate again. Juju Smith-Schuster and Chase Claypool are both on that team, and the way you countered my Hunter Henry point was saying that they have other targets. So, what's your response to that one?
So Juju and Claypool play outside,
Okay.
and a lot of times we like to go to the slot route,
Uh-huh.
and so Deontay gets probably more targets than both those guys.
Exhibit Hines Ward.
Yeah. And Exhibit Juju, when we had AB and Juju was in the slot, like he was feasting, and then once AB left, we moved him to number one, and it's not
So
like
what you're
he's
saying
bad,
is your
but-
number one receiver doesn't get many targets.
Well, on any team, the defense will usually pay more
Usually put
attention to the number one guy.
Correct.
So they're not paying as much attention to Deontay as they are to Claypool and Juju because they're both deep threats and
Correct.
like huge. So
No, Najee the coaches had to tell Najee to go home because he was spending too much time within the facility, watching film, doing all that. Coach had to say, hey, go home, read a book, go watch some TV. Instead of actually, he was in there 24/7. He is ready to play. I would say he's going to climb up.
they told him go home.
They did.
He was there too late.
He was there too late. Exactly.
That's what you'd love to hear.
It's this. You
Love
really
that.
is. When the coaches are telling the players to put in less effort, that's
That's when you know.
when you know. And he's that guy. He is that guy. He is the.
Sean, you have any more sleepers?
Yeah.
You know football.
Yeah. You play football
Get a
sometimes.
Michael Carter running back on the Jets.
No, actually, I think Larry Fitzgerald is going to have the greatest season of his career.
That is a flaming hot take. But if he's right,
What?
then we'll clip this for sure.
Yeah, no.
Don't edit that out.
But, yeah, no. To be honest, has he re-signed for sure?
I honestly thought.
I think he is.
All right.
But I maybe. They have D-Hop and AJ Green now, so
Doesn't matter.
yeah. He is the most reliable hands in the NFL.
He
I would
has
say
more.
he has more tackles than drops in
That's
his
what it
career,
is.
which is
Insane.
absurdly insane. And just kind of proves how bad the Cardinals are. But that is a deep sleeper.
Deep.
Very deep.
Hibernation.
That's a better pick than Hunter Henry. I'm sorry.
I would say it's a hibernation pick. But
We're not even sure if he's in the league. That's how sleepy.
yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I think he is, though. I'm pretty sure he is. So yeah, is there any other things you guys like to talk about?
Don't draft a quarterback too high. Don't forget about the sleepers in the waiver wire as your best friend.
Don't pick a kicker besides the last round.
Second to last round.
Second to
Second
last
last.
kicker, defensive special teams, doesn't matter.
Yes. Do not pick Justin Tucker in the third round. That's the only thing I have to say.
All right. Well, Sean, anything to say before we go?
Thank you.
Well said. All
Man
right.
of many words.
Have a good night.
Yeah, Carlos.
All right.
Wow, that was amazing.
I think that was some good banner.
That was the best experience of my life.